Welcome. We're a little late today, but that's all right. You know, Flaminpit's allowed to be late every now and again. So welcome. Today is a good day in the neighborhood. How you doing back there, Johnny?
Doing okay.
Is it raining back there?
Not raining here, but outside it is. We got a good roof and the subfloor on it over the top of our heads.
I want to make sure I don't want my hair to get wet. You know, I can't.
That's a real problem.
It just gets in my eyes when they get wet. But anyways, today I want to introduce you to my guest, Miss Shirley Cochran. Welcome, Shirley.
Thank you, Lisa.
Shirley runs a program called Motherly Intercessions, and every time I think of that, motherly, it just sounds so comforting. And so she's going to talk to us today about the program. It's been one I've been watching here and there, and I actually got to go over to her office and look around to see exactly what they do, and it's a very interesting concept. And so let's just talk about Motherly Intercession. Tell me about it.
Well, I suppose you want me to start back with a little history. Motherly Intercession is now 15 years old, and we serve children of incarcerated parents. That we serve that population exclusively. If a child does not have a parent who's ever been incarcerated, then we're not serving that population. When I say serve children of incarcerated parents, we serve children of mothers or fathers who have been incarcerated or is now. So even if they spent 1 hour in jail, they're qualified.
Oh.
Once the parent gets out of jail or prison, does not mean that the child's no longer eligible for our services, because as you know, we'd have children in and out all the time.
Right.
So once that child is in, they're in. And we have a wait list every year, anywhere between 75 to 100 children waiting to get in.
Wow. I didn't know it was, I didn't even know how long it had been,
Yes.
In working, and to have a list like that at all times, it make you think it's a lot of people going to jail.
It is a lot of people going to jail.
I'm trying to be nice about it.
Absolutely. And today, with economic conditions the way they are, the numbers have grown tremendously. But, with the levels of poverty in our community, and people are doing things to survive.
Right.
Everybody's not just going to jail because they want to go to jail, but nonetheless, there's a lot of incarceration. And the other piece of that is that people are learning about our services. We get referrals from the churches, the schools, the jails, and word of mouth. And so we're still the best kept secret in Genesee County. That's why I want to thank you for this opportunity today.
Oh, you're welcome, because I hadn't heard of it. Someone referred your name to me a while back. I've been chasing you forever.
Yeah, we've been talking a while.
Yeah,
6 months.
Your schedule is so busy. Now, the programs, I'm looking at the flyer, and you have programs inside the jail and outside the jail.
Yes.
Now, one thing, my question is, like, when the kids are in your program, they're in the program is there like a certain length of time? Is there an age? You can only be in till you're a certain age.
Well, I get asked that a lot. We actually have a 3-5 program, a school readiness program, which is kind of like Head Start. And we've started that after we started initially we started with ages of 5 to 10 years ago. And we were leaving those younger children in the same homes and who were exposed to the same things. And so we developed that program. And we actually have one young lady now who's graduated from our after-school program and from high school. She's in her 3rd year of college, and she's 20 years old, but we still consider her as one of our students because now we've hired her.
Oh,
we've hired her, and so we just kind of, we do all we can to support those children as long as we can support them through college, if we can. So that's our goal.
So how does one find out? Like you said, you get referrals, so you get more and more people, like we said, going to jail. So how would they find out about it? Because I just referred someone to you a couple weeks ago. Someone came up to the church. On Fridays I volunteer doing a food giveaway, and this lady had her child with her, and she
Right.
said, "Oh, I need to find somebody, somewhere, because the mother's getting ready to go to jail for like 12 years." So I referred her to you, and I'm not sure if she had gotten in
Thank
contact
you.
with you, but I mean, how is it just word of mouth? Like, how do people know? Because it is.
Well,
Like-
because we are in jail, because we actually, as you can see there, we run 4 different programs inside of the jail.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have direct contact with the mothers who self-enroll their families, and then we follow up with the caregivers. But outside of there, it's as simple as calling 424-9909, which is our office number. And then we do assessments. I have a social worker who will do an interview and an assessment based on the space that we have, because we transport a good number of those kids to our programs. We have 2 vans on the road, and that's kind of limiting. If a family is able to get the children to our facility, then that enables me to take even more children in. And then that too is an issue for some families because of the cost of gas.
Yeah, and now is there a certain area, or do you cover all Genesee
Genesee County.
And what's the limit for the amount of people can be in the program?
Well, because our program is almost as if it's 2 or 3 different programs. That's why I refer to it as program components. We may serve children simply with the art and culture education piece, whereas they will get classes through our collaborative partner, the Flint Institute of Music, or those areas. We may also have children that are coming in for the after-school tutorial programs, our academic support programs. We
Right.
may support children who are just doing the visitation with their moms at the jail. So I say that to say that every child is not going to take advantage of all the services we have because we have a wealth of services
Oh, okay.
that take place in different places, different times.
Okay.
So we try, and it's kind of like a one-stop shopping. We try and meet the most significant need of those children
Right.
and the caregivers who are caring for them.
So you won't go up in there and it's like overcrowded because everybody's in there at the same time.
Not necessarily, yeah, no.
Now, who pays for the services? Are the people that are incarcerated or their caregivers responsible for paying for the service? Or
All
is
of our
this?
services are absolutely free. We do fundraisers, and I'd like to plug my fundraiser when and if you want.
Go ahead.
Give me time. Okay. Our annual Interceding for Children fundraising dinner will be held on Saturday, November 9th at 6 o'clock at the New Creations Church on Lennon Road. That's our signature fundraiser that we do every year. Now, we have various other fundraisers throughout the year. We're also supported by grant support from the Ruth Ma Foundation, the Community Foundation, several other local agencies, as well as we've just recently received a 4-year grant from the Children's Trust Fund for child abuse and neglect, to reduce the risk of child abuse and neglect. So we're writing grants, doing fundraisers. Sometimes it's out of pocket. I mean, initially when we first started, it was a lot out of pocket.
Because I know that I talked to you, says, I'm working from home, I got to get these grants
Oh,
written.
yeah, that's an ongoing process. If you don't ask, you don't get. So you have to be out there asking all the time.
That's exactly true. Now you have mom-to-mom mentoring. What is that? And are those the moms already
Yeah,
incarcerated?
these are the programs that are inside the jail, and the mom-to-mom mentoring is specifically, it's a self-enhancement. It's more or less a Bible study class.
Oh, okay.
When you go into the jail, they have several jail ministries there, and you go through a special training through the Forgotten Man Ministries. And that's a program whereas the mothers come in, and we have a couple of wonderful women, Ursi Clifton and Jan Telgana, who goes in on a weekly basis every Tuesday evening and have sessions with these women. And they actually really make great connections. They are just perfect for doing this work. I think we've got everybody placed where they're supposed to be.
Right.
And one of the other programs here is the Parenting While Incarcerated. Is a parenting class. There's parenting classes all over, but we felt that there needed to be a specific training for how these women would do their parenting from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they need to understand that when you have time, and we through our visitation program, when you have that special time, that special hour with your child, you need to really make sure that child leaves with positive memories of that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make sure that they know that you love them in spite of the distance between them, and several other things that we try and train the mothers. So, and some of the mothers have never really fulfilled that parenting role until now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their lifestyles wasn't conducive to a loving, nurturing parent, and so then they're there, they take the classes, and have been very successful in helping them to really know how to go out and continue their parent role.
Yeah. I can imagine, or maybe not imagine, when the parents, like, whatever they do to, to get put in jail, and they have kids, and then they end up like the grandparents raise them or something.
Yes, always.
So when they come in, and do you find resistance from some people that saying, I don't need the Bible, and I don't need that, and it's like a resistance for the help.
Well, actually, we don't. That's not an issue for us, or it hasn't been, because keep in mind, they're in jail, and this is one of the several programs that come into the jail, and it's offered.
Mm-hmm.
So simply when our staff gets there, the deputy calls and says motherly intercession is here, and they come if they want.
Oh, okay.
It's by choice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And every week we have a room of women,
Oh, well, that's
up to
great.
30-some women.
That's great.
They file out just in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in none, you made mention of the Bible study specifically, all of them aren't believers. There's
Mm-hmm.
several non-believers that come through the year, and then there's several that practice other than Christianity, but that's never been an issue for us.
Mm-hmm.
They come on their own free will,
Mm-hmm.
and every week they return on their own free will.
Oh, okay. And that's a good thing, I guess, because once you start going and you see it's not as bad as maybe you think, you may be thinking that, they're going to come in here and preach the Bible to me, or they're going to come and judge me because I'm in here.
My own personal philosophy is that you don't beat people across the head with the Bible, because God gave us our free will,
Mm-hmm.
and we make our own decision as to whether we're going to trust and believe in Him or not.
Right.
And what my volunteers are attempting to do is just to be able to enlighten them and share the word with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like we're going to knock on the doors and rattle cages and say, you have to sit down, and we're going to, make you redeem yourself. It's not like that at all. It truly is a free will situation. If they come once and don't like it, then it's their choice whether they come back again or not.
Mm-hmm.
But, what I'd like to point out is that I'm always amazed, and I don't get down there as often as I used to, but I'm always amazed that a large number of those women know the Bible. They have Christian backgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
And, you can't, if you don't know what you're talking about, I suggest you don't go down there and say you're going to share the word with these women.
Right. Because they might put you in check.
They know, they absolutely know. And so, but by the grace of God, there go I guess, what I'm saying is I don't condone the actions, but we're all prone to making mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And often I used to wonder, well, if they already know that this is wrong and that's wrong, why are they here? But then I needed to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to get to understand that it's not my place to judge and determine why they're here or not.
Yeah.
And so it's like I say, it's free. It's free,
Mm-hmm.
and they can come if they want. One of the other services is that our visitation program, and that's how we initially started.
Mm-hmm.
We actually went into the jail. I went into the jail many years ago to find one mother who would not be at home at Christmas. And my husband and I were going to buy Christmas for her family, for her children, meals, gifts from her.
Right.
And when the jail, I went and introduced myself, and they allowed me to speak to the women. And I actually had an application. I received 23 requests from 23 mothers who would not be at home at Christmas. Well, that was a heartbreaker for me, because Christmas at my house my mother was always going to do a chocolate cake and a coconut cake, and she was going to, it was a set meal I knew we were going to have.
Right.
And she played a huge role in us having a happy Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And just to think that Mom wouldn't be there really kind of devastated me at the thought of these young kids.
Yeah.
And so we certainly couldn't afford to take care of 23
23
families,
families.
58 children, mind you.
Oh my goodness.
And so I called all my friends and families and eventually got down to anyone who had ever said good morning or I love you and asked them for help. And we were able to provide Christmas for all 58 children that year. And we delivered to the households of the caregivers Christmas Eve morning, and it was a huge success. We did that for like 2 years.
Wow.
But the other thing is that those children, when they come to visit their mothers through the jail program, they got 20 minutes a week.
20 minutes, that's not very long.
You can only hold hands.
Oh.
You can't hug, kiss, or love your mom. And so how do we expect a child to understand that, I can't hug or love you up?
Right.
But,
And 20 minutes is not long enough.
And I need to clarify that. Now I do understand this is a jail, not a country club.
Right.
I do understand that they have to have rules and regulations, and I think it's great that they even allow visitation.
Right.
But that just really is a little bit devastating for me. And so because we went and volunteered our services to develop a program to actually provide those children a little bit more time and contact. And so now for the past 13 years we've hosted the visitation program down there, and the children get 1 full hour full contact.
Oh, okay.
And we've actually had young babies to take first steps, and mom got to witness it. Kids get to hug and love it, and that's something that the children can go take home. The mere fact that they can sit on mom's lap and say I love you, or hear her say I love you, or that they can tell her what's going on in school.
Right.
They can share, and so it's very significant for them to be able to have that time. That's to maintain that relationship. Some of the mothers are coming home, but some are going deeper into the system.
Right.
So if we can give these kids pleasant, positive memories and good visits, that's what we're trying to do. And that's why we try and train the mom in how to carry herself during that visitation and how to appreciate it.
Do you think it's kind of traumatic, though, for the kids to see their parents in jail?
I have had caseworkers to say that they don't think the jail is the place for children. I don't agree with that, in that these children love their mothers no matter how dysfunctional we think she is. They don't care if she's wearing an orange jumpsuit or if she's wearing sandals or don't have shoestrings in her shoes.
Right.
And that's the case in jail. Those children, that's mom. She's their primary caregiver most of the time. And they've loved her from day one. They don't care if her hair is braided up or if her hair is all over her head, or they don't care if she don't have that makeup, that Sunday makeup. They love their mothers.
Right.
And actually, that's their only crime, is to love their parents. Now, they suffer the same punishments. When I say they suffer the same punishment, simply because as she's doing her time, they're doing their time. Their whole lives is disrupted in a lot of ways.
Right.
So I don't see a problem with that. In particular, I guess I never really understood what it is that they don't think is good for the kids, because the room is just as any other waiting room at a hospital or at a doctor's office or any place else.
So they don't see the bars.
It's
My
neat and
concern was
clean.
be seeing the bars
Oh,
and
no. Oh,
talking
no.
behind the glass.
No.
That's what I think.
And that's TV.
Because that's what I think.
That's what I thought. What I thought when I first went down. I didn't know what to expect. But let me take you on a little journey to a visit in the Genesee County Jail. And the women there are bars. But it's not like the bars that you see on TV. When we get off the elevator, we're right at the visitation room, which, like I say, is just a big waiting room.
Big open room.
It's a big open room, and it's windows all around, and deputies are sitting across outside, and it's clear view of what's going on in that room.
Right.
From the deputy's office, there's another door on the other side where the mothers are housed. And in there is another big pod. And then back in the back areas are the rooms. there's no bars where you're speaking to your child through the bars. No,
No glass.
when they call us, and in particular glasses. That's we see that in prisons where there's
they talking on the phone,
no contact. No. It's not like that at all.
No, I don't want that.
So no, and I wouldn't either. I
Yeah.
wouldn't either. If it actually was like that, I would think that could be a problem.
Yeah.
In my own personal opinion. No, when the kids see their mother, she's walking through that door. And so that means that they've announced that Motherly Intercession staff is there. Those who are wanting to come in and attend whatever activity we have, the doors will open, and then they'll come into the visitation room.
Right.
Now, the one thing that it took me a while to get used to is the slamming of the door.
Yeah.
The door is
Heavy.
yeah, it
Clink.
is. But you at some point, I don't think the kids really are paying much attention to that because they're seeing mom.
Right.
They are so happy to see their mothers and tears of joy, and it's just a good time. It's just a good meeting. And if you could see the meeting and how happy these kids are to see their mothers, I just don't see how anyone could have a problem with that. It's better for these kids to see that she's healthy and safe. And then that helps to dismiss that vision that you and I and everyone else have of jail. Because they too are watching TV. Because I actually heard one of the kids ask Mom, do they have knives in here? Do they kill people in here too? Because she had seen someone get shanked on TV. And that's just, it's totally different from that. It's not, like I say, it's not a luxury cruiser. It's not a country club by no means. It's no place that you and I want to be.
Right.
Because it is for punishment. But nonetheless, it's hardly the way that it's depicted in the movie.
Well, that's good, because some of the kids, when they bring them, they're so young, you never know. And I watch Beyond Scared Straight. And when they take them kids in there, because they're like little babies kids, and the doors clanging and the inmates are jumping out at them and everything.
Oh my God! And something too. I think a lot of that. Remember, the purpose of that is to scare them straight.
Right.
So a lot of that's dramatized because I've actually gone into prisons, and again, it's a big visitation room. Get back to where right. We had prisoners to buy our first set of computers for our computer lab many years ago down in south of Detroit, and they were able to get me into the prison to thank the prisoners. And again, it's not, the visitation area is just not, you're not privy to getting back to where, they would never allow us to be able to penetrate those areas. Right. If you really think about it.
Because I'm from Jackson, Michigan. The biggest
prison
used
biggest
to be there.
Right.
And when you go in there, it's just a big open space.
Right.
You might see the bars when you drive up, but once you get inside, you don't see bars anymore.
No, you're not. It's hardly the way it's depicted. But for Scared Straight and for movie, it's drama.
Yeah.
It's drama.
And you hope it does scare the kids straight so that they don't end up in there.
I don't take my children on jail tours for several reasons, but I just would rather not take them on jail tours. If their mom's in jail, I'll take them to visit her, but I just don't see the need to take a group of children down there to gawk at these people that are in jail, and they may or may not see someone else's mother and take it back to the schools. I'm very protective of my children because these kids are already they're dealing with a lot.
Right.
And we had a very high profile case at one point where it's a 13-year-old mom, and she was just in the paper all the time for her case. And one of the kids at school saw it, cut it out, and took it to school. And they encircled her on the playground, and then he handed it to her.
Oh, man.
And, she ended up in counseling. This is a truly embarrassing situation, and that's why people tend to keep incarceration a secret. Which, in my opinion, causes another set of problems because, the children don't have anyone they can talk about it with.
Right.
They can't tell their best friend, can't tell their teachers. What goes on the home stays in the home.
Right. You can only talk to your counselor.
And really and truly, no, they don't even talk to their counselors about it simply because the caregivers, the adults, don't want the schools or anyone to know.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times kids are acting out in school and the teachers don't know what the issue is. Motherly Intercession is a safe haven because there all of the children share that peace.
Oh, okay.
So they can talk openly
They
about
can all
it.
talk to each other
They
because
can
they're
talk
all
to
in the
each other
same.
because they're in the same predicament. And we also have, like I said before, a social worker that can help them to navigate through their problems, fears, and concerns.
So motherly intercessions don't really house kids. It's
No,
mostly
not at all.
just programs to help them deal with their parents being incarcerated.
Absolutely. No housing is involved.
Now, is
No.
that something that you would think about in the future if it came to that? Like, say, you know how the grandparents get too old to keep the kids and there's nobody else,
No,
rather than...
I wouldn't, because we have a system in place. We have our court systems, we have DHS, we have our foster care homes who are doing a great job considering what they're working with and considering the workload that they have to deal with every day. There's no reason for me to reinvent the wheel. I'm not interested in growing in that aspect at all, simply because that's not what I feel God gave me to do.
Right.
And I try and stay in my lane. I don't practice medicine. I don't practice law. I do what I do, and that's nothing that I have ever really. I've had it mentioned before.
Right.
But I think the best thing we can do is to be able to help these kids to continue that healthy relationship with their parent, whether they go deeper into the system or not, whether it's through letter writing or visits or whatever. I do really have a problem with children being sent away from family members.
Right.
And I know some of the family members we rather not claim as family. Sometimes
how family
our
gets you.
family member is not the best, but the other thing is that kinship is still important. I really feel that.
Right, right. Now, when you have the classes outside the jail, say you got the reading and counting to success class and the arts and culture, I mean, who teaches those and where do they go for those?
They're at our facility that you visited. I think, remember the tour, we have a huge activity room, and then we have other components of those rooms, throughout the building.
Okay.
And we have both e-learning instruction and instructions that are that's provided by staff that comes in. And we use a lot of college interns. We also recruit volunteers from the community, retired teachers, or just folk who have the academic skill sets that are willing to come in. So we're always looking for volunteers to come and work with our kids. But we have a strong academic support program in place where when a child comes in, we evaluate them, determine where they are, and then we work with them. And then we also work directly with the schools to try and to ensure that the help that we provide them connect with what they need to be successful in the traditional classroom.
Yeah, because sometimes in the classrooms they kind of get lost, especially if they act up in any kind of way.
If they can't tell why they're acting up and what's going on at home.
And they lose, their learning ability because the teacher, after a while, they just be like, to their principal's office or kick them out of school.
Because the teachers have so much to contend with themselves. They have so many children, so many students in their room. And then if you don't know, you don't know. And there's counselors and things in place here. But again, a lot of people don't accept the help because incarceration has such a negative social stigma in our community.
Right.
We tend to really whisper about it. And for good reason, I guess, because I've had people to say, I don't help criminals, for donations. No, this is for children of incarcerated parents. I don't help children of criminals. And then I ran into a situation shopping. A lady and I reached for the same blouse, and of course the conversation started from there. We laughed about it and went forward. And I started to tell her about what I did. And she just really shut down, and she says, well, how am I going to tell my best friend how to deal with getting her son getting shot to death? Which meant I was serving possibly the person who shot her son. Well, what do you say to that? Except, if that person that shot her son has a child, that child too will need some help, and we will give that child help. We're not here to solve world problems.
Right.
We're not here to practice law again or to seek vengeance and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
this is a critical need that we're trying to fulfill for as many kids as we can.
Yeah, and it is negative because that's the first thing, like, some people, they'll say, I forgive you and, God, but then other people's like, no, that's a criminal. You go to jail and go under the jail.
And I guess I kind of understand the emotions behind both. It just depends on where we are in our personal walk. I just heard on TV last week where a gentleman went to prison for 20-some years, and the lady, DNA proved that she had lied on him, and it wasn't him. And then now they're good friends, and they've been friends for over 20 years and supporting each other. And so some people can find that forgiveness, that place in their heart where they could forgive, but then that would be awful hard for me.
It would really be hard for me.
20 years of his life is lost. He could never recover. But on the other hand, that's why I say it just depends on where we are individually in our personal walk every day. Yeah. And some can understand and some can't. And then some of the crimes, women, we're not behaving ourselves as we used to. When I say we, I mean the female population as a whole, because years back, you just didn't have as many women going to jail. Right. And if they did, they were like soft crimes. And when I say soft crimes, I'm talking like maybe shoplifting, some prostitutions, writing a band check or something like that. Yeah. Today, it's hardcore. Yeah. It's drugs and murder and those kind of bank robberies and all kinds of things. Our whole society has totally changed an awful lot over the years. And so crime goes across all gender, all races, all economic status. Right. I've had women in there that have far more education than you would ever expect, like master's degrees and what have you. And another thing too, Lisa, is that people, based on our newspaper and TV, and it's like the bars that we see on TV. Right. In the male population, Afro-Americans kind of own incarceration, the males, because the numbers are so high. It's so many black males that are incarcerated when you compare it to the Caucasian males. But when you go to the female population, it's just the opposite. Oh. It's just the opposite. The Caucasian females is far more numbers most of the time. And that's something that's never out.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that either, because you just see people in jail, and especially just like when they are on Beyond Scared Straight, it's mostly all the white women come out. You might see 2 or 3 black women in there, but I never would have known there was more white women. And
that's just what our stats and our data depicts over the years. That's years of data. That's not just last week or last month. That's years of data that we've tracked. Right. And that's a misconception that people tend to, they just view the total incarceration population as predominantly black, and that's just not the case. Wow.
Well, this has been a very interesting story, Shirley, and I hope you continue to do this, because it seems like there is a need, and it's going to continue to be a need. And absolutely, when people, they want to come to it now. And the other thing is, here I see that in your Strengthening Incarcerated Families program, it's free 7-week training. So what are we training?
Okay, that was our first initial cohort, and that was the grant from the State of Michigan Children's Trust Fund that I mentioned earlier. Actually, it's a 14-week cohort of classes that, and it's really to help the alternate caregivers and the parents to reduce the risk of child abuse and neglect by helping them to understand how to reduce the stress and depression out of their lives and become resilient and prepare to be able to accept and meet those challenges, those daily challenges that the children and those who are left, you mentioned elderly grandparents, the aunts, uncles that are caring for those children. There are challenges that pop up every day in those people's lives. When one is stressed, depressed, dealing with the poverty, dealing with health issues, dealing with children showing up at your door unexpected in the midnight and trying to make places for them, those are all stressors. And then sometimes you're dealing with the children's other side of the family. There may be disagreements between the incarcerated mom and who has her children, and there's just a wealth of stressors that's flying all over the place. And when caregivers are stressed and under pressure and depressed, that's when the abuse and neglect for the kids come in.
Yeah.
And those children are at great risk. And a lot of times, the parents and caregivers, it's not an intent, it's a situation.
Mm-hmm.
So we're prepared. We actually partnered with the University of Michigan Department of Public Health, Ann Arbor, in 2009, and we tailored a national program. It took us 2 years, from 2009 to 2011, to tailor that program, and that's where the Strengthening Incarcerated Families program derived from. After working as a research project and actually interviewing and working with the incarcerated families personally, and gathering data and matching that with the data we already had for over a 2-year period, we were able to develop a curriculum of training classes that will enable, and it's not just for the adults, it's for children as well. So we bring the families in, and we're actually recruiting right now we're going to start another cohort in September. So if there's anyone out there who's caring for children of incarcerated parents, whether it's an alternate caregiver or ex-incarcerated parent or a parent, just in general, I would love for you to call us and get your name on the list, and we'll follow up, because those classes are tailored to actually help those families to learn to live together harmoniously.
Right, right.
And to take a lot of that strife and stress right out of their lives and reduce that risk tremendously.
Because it is, I see, like I said before, at the church, I know this one lady comes every Friday, and she has her grandkids. She has like 5 little kids.
Wow.
And you know they're the grandkids, and they're
Yes.
just like running all over. And
All over the
she's
place.
standing there, she's got this look on her face like, please calm down. Get over here, get over here. And I feel bad, but because you figure it's got to be the grandmother. And they're all so little, and they all, full of energy and stuff. And I don't know if the parents are incarcerated or whatever, but she brings them every week.
But it's bloodline. We try and take care of our own.
Right.
We try and take care of our own.
And that's where the stress come in pretty soon.
Oh,
It's
yes.
just, it gets to be too much.
The children are taught to identify the stressors that they cause, and also to identify their own stressors. I walked in class during the last cohort, and they were discussing when is the best time to ask the adult if you can go out and play. They were trying to decide, there's always a good time to talk to anyone about anything.
Right.
And they were trying to share that with them, to identify when it's the best time to do this, that, or the other, and how your behavior within your home impacts everybody else's behavior within the home. And then in the other part of our building, we're teaching the adults on how to deal with certain activities. Like you say, the kids are running all over the place.
Right.
There's some things that can just be ignored. And the kids will usually, if they're doing it for attention, they'll stop it.
Yeah.
And then there's some things you can absolutely not ignore.
Right.
And so you need to identify what, pick your battles. You need to identify what you're going to really respond to, and then how.
Right.
And then not only that, how to navigate the school systems,
Yeah.
how to get some structure within your home, and have everybody be able to work together as a team.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like the discipline and stuff, everybody should be on the same page. Sometimes
Absolutely.
it gets hard because you go to this person, they let be a little bit more lenient. You go
Oh,
over
and
here,
the
you be
children
more
learn
strict.
that quickly.
I
don't
know they learn where to
They
go.
absolutely
They
know where to
learn.
go.
It's like
And
we
you
going to grandma's house, we can do what we want
And
to
you
do.
certainly don't ask grandma those kinds of things when she's just waking up or when she's sleeping, but then they learn to do those things. And so,
Right, they know when.
yes.
So anyways, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come in today and just explain what the program is. And like you said, this is your best kept secret, so now maybe it's not going to be much of a
I'm
secret.
hopeful that this will get a few more people on board
Right,
and
we're
learn
going to
what
post
we're
it up on
doing.
YouTube and everywhere. We want everybody to
appreciate
know
this.
about motherly intercession. So if you have any contact numbers or emails you want to give out, you can do that.
Yes, Lisa. Again, our office number is area code 810-424-9909. And we also have a generic email address that's M as in Mary, I as in ice cream, -info at comcast.net. So it's MI-info at comcast.net. There's a website that's www.miforu.org, and it spells MI4U. We had to take motherly intercession right out of there because no one could spell motherly intercession.
It's a long email address.
It is. It is awful long. So we really tried to narrow that down. But again, I'll repeat, our website, if you want to just go out and take a look at what we're doing out there, is www.miforu.org.
Okay. So thank you for coming in.
I want to thank you for this opportunity. I
And you're so
really
welcome.
appreciate it. I know we had this appointment for almost 6 months.
I
And thank you
know.
for hanging
And
in
then
there
the
with
time
us.
flew by so fast.
Yes, it
was
did.
just like all of a sudden, Shirley, you're up next week.
I certainly appreciate you for this.
And you're so welcome. So next week, I want everybody to make sure you tune in. My guest will be tomorrow, Rose Campbell. She has a new book out called Life, and that stands for Living Inspired, Feel Empowered. So make sure you tune in next week for the Flaminpit Show. And with saying that, this is Flaminpit, and we're out.